Welcome to the Virtual Manager podcast. My name's Anna Russell. I'm an artist manager and founder of The Virtual Manager. Throughout my career, I've developed and managed several music artists from new unsigned acts right through to globally successful ones. This podcast is for all unmanaged or independent music artists who want to start, build, or grow a successful, sustainable music career. As a music artist, it's hard to know how and where you should be spending money in your music career, especially when it comes to marketing and promotion. Some services can be very costly but not necessarily effective for you, which is frustrating. Other things can cost little but represent very good value for money. And different things will work differently for different artists. Finding that out includes an element of trial and error. However, in today's episode of the Virtual Manager podcast, I want to talk about 3 services that you should never pay for as an artist. Now, in an ideal world, I'd like to see these services, which at best are ignorant to how the industry truly works, and sometimes at worst, scamming unknowing artists. I'd like to see these regulated, exposed, or to simply disappear. However, as that's unlikely to happen and social media has made music artists even more susceptible to these types of approaches, I want to do my bit to ensure you don't get stung. So here are 3 services you should never pay for as a music artist. Number 1, to be on Spotify playlists. A service which offers to put you on a Spotify playlist is not necessarily scamming you. However, no one, unless they are a Spotify editor, can get you onto one of Spotify's editorial playlists. What they can do is put you on a Spotify playlist which they themselves have created and built up a sizable listenership for you. However, those listeners might not represent your ideal target fans or even fans of your genre of music. Unfortunately, in some cases, these listeners are not even real or are not active on those playlists. So essentially, you pay money to be placed on a playlist, which then gets little to no plays. But even in cases where the playlists do get listeners, ask yourself if a playlist which people pay to be on, i.e. there's no real curation or quality control of it, is a playlist that you really want to be on. Chances are it's not going to put you alongside quality music or deliver any tangible results for you. The only thing that you can directly do to get onto Spotify's editorial playlists is to submit your song to Spotify via your artist account on Spotify itself. There are lots of things you can do indirectly that also influence Spotify playlisting. But Spotify do not liaise with so-called Spotify pluggers or outside promotion services to curate their playlists. If you want to learn all about what does influence Spotify playlisting and the aspects that are within your control as a music artist, we have a full in-depth training on this in the Virtual Manager membership. The second thing that you should never pay for as a music artist is social media followers or fans. Services that offer to skyrocket or bump up your social media following on any platform may well be able to deliver it. It's just that there won't be any value in the additional followers it adds, which will be made up of bots, spam accounts, and people in far-off places who have no idea or interest in who you are or your music. A following only has value, i.e. will support your music and buy from you, if they are true fans. That's why it's so important that you nurture your fan base and convert them into tangible fans. But no amount of nurturing can turn bot followers into one-day fans. Furthermore, any manager, label, or industry person worth their salt that you may be trying to impress with your inflated social media following will be able to see through it very quickly. How? A quick analysis of your social media data will show them a level of engagement that is highly disproportionate to the number of followers you have, meaning you have lots of followers, very few of whom ever engage with your content. They're also likely to see a high number of your social media followers who seem to be based in countries where you have no profile or any music out. So don't ever be tempted to buy fans or followers. It's literally a waste of your money, which would be much better spent on social media advertising or somewhere else in your marketing budget. The same goes for boosting the number of streams or plays of a song or video that you have on any platform. There is no value in this, and it's transparent to those who work in the industry. The third and final thing that you should never pay for as a music artist is to have your music heard by a major label or any of their A&Rs or record label representatives. Record labels nor any of their staff will ever charge music artists a fee to be heard at the label. And they don't need to. They have teams of A&Rs and music scouts who are paid directly to source and listen to new music, as well as meet with artists and their reps as full-time or part-time staff. Record labels don't enlist the help of outside A&Rs or consultants and ask them to charge artists to send in music. So if someone ever offers to get you heard by a major label or any other label for that matter, as long as you pay them, run the other way. Some things to look out for to help you spot a scam and tell the difference between legitimate services from those that are not legitimate are as follows. Anything that appears to be a shortcut, magic pill, or too good to be true. If it seems too good to be true, it usually is. There are no shortcuts in the music industry, and there's no substitute for learning as much as you can about the industry, doing the work, and building a fan base. This takes time. Anyone guaranteeing something that you know is and should be based on music tastes. So, for example, playlist curation or radio playlisting. These are things that happen and are things that you are added to as an artist because you're the right fit for that playlist or for that radio show. It's based on the producer and the DJ's tastes and the genres of music that they play and what their audience are interested in hearing. Ditto guarantees on exposure to a certain size of audience or a certain number of plays. Nobody can actually guarantee you that, so assume that when they are, something might be amiss. If a service or an individual comes to you first, so were you actually looking to use any of these particular services? Or has someone simply cold called by dropping into your DMs or spamming your Instagram posts? If they come to you, it means they're touting for business first and foremost, whether the service is legitimate or not. Credibility. Look up the individual or company who has contacted you. What is their background and their experience? Are they who they say they are? Speak to other music artists who have potentially used that service and find out what you can about whether or not it is legitimate. Poor grammar and spelling, false email addresses, facts that don't add up. A professional service is unlikely to have email addresses that look dodgy or incorrect. They won't use a certain record label's logo if they're supposed to actually work for another label. And any copy they use will usually be fully spell checked and will make use of correct grammar. So look out for those that don't. Anyone that uses phrases such as they're going to make you a superstar. You'll notice that even very experienced artist managers or major labels would never promise such a thing because it can never be guaranteed by anyone. And last but not least, transparency. Can they explain how their service works or what benefit it offers you and the outcomes you can expect from using the service? Or are they very opaque about how they work? Lack of transparency in a service, how it works, and how it truly benefits you can be a sign of a scam. It's very important to say that not every service which makes these claims is a scam or a con. However, these are some of the things you may want to look at in researching them. And that's the big takeaway from this episode. Always do your research. Ask trusted sources, look up services and individuals who offer something that sounds unbelievable online. If you've ever wondered about these types of services, hopefully this podcast episode has provided you with some transparency. However, if you're not sure about a particular service that you're currently considering and whether it's worthwhile or not, come and ask me on social media. I'll be happy to have a look and let you know. You can find me at AR Artist Management on Facebook or at AR Artist MGMT on both Instagram and Twitter. That's it for this week's episode. I'll be back next Tuesday with another one in which I share some fan base building tips with you. So join me then. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Virtual Manager podcast. If you've found it useful, I invite you to check out the Virtual Manager membership site. The Virtual Manager is an essential resource for independent music artists who want to start, build, or grow a successful, sustainable music career. It ensures that you have the foundations of that music career in place, then helps you to build on those to achieve your music career goals. With monthly music industry training, a library of tools and resources, A&R feedback on your music, access to live Q&As with me, plus an active supportive community of like-minded artists, the Virtual Manager is the perfect place to be for any unmanaged or independent artist. The Virtual Manager relaunches very shortly, so to get early bird access at the lowest membership price, join the waiting list now at thevirtualmanager.co.uk. Finally, please take a minute to review and subscribe to this podcast. It helps more independent music artists to find us.